Well, hello.
Roy F, where you at?
We're back. Another week of step work through the NA book with your recovering addicts winning. Today was blessings on blessings. We handed out those bags and we haven't forgot about you guys. So here we are back at it, working step 8 this week with you.
Sorry for our voice. We've been out there screaming all day. Alright, so in the past couple of weeks, we've been asking our higher power to remove our shortcomings.
Taking inventory, making list after list after list.
And our character defects. We've been able to weed out and come to recognize all the shortcomings we had, the character defects. All those were the masks that we wore when we were in our active addiction, when we were out there running. You know what I mean? So as this next step goes, now we're about to take some action. All right, and it's scary, all the masks that we wore, all the images that we had to portray while we were in our addiction. You know, we did some things sometimes that were, you know, to the extreme. And when you see that after being sober, you're like, damn, you know, I really was at my rock bottom. But you take that and use it as fuel to your recovery.
To live a better life.
You don't want to go back to that.
Yeah.
All right. Remember, the worst day in recovery is better than your best day in active addiction.
Yes. So it says step 8. We made a list of all the persons we had harmed and become willing to make amends to them all. All of them.
Mm-hmm.
Step 8 is a test of our newfound humility. Our purpose is to achieve freedom from the guilt that we have carried. We want to look at the world in the eye with neither aggressiveness nor fear. Are we willing to make a list of all the persons we have harmed to clear away from the fear and guilt that our past holds for us? Our experience tells us that we must be willing before this step will be any effect. Willingness. There we go. Willingness. You have to be willing. You have to be willing to admit you have a problem. You have to be willing to admit that you hurt somebody. And you have to be willing to make an amends to them.
All right. So, look, thus far, it hasn't actually told you to do anything. All the step work we're doing, you're doing right now. We're writing everything down. And, you know, you just got to have that willingness, that okay, I'm going to try. I'm going to see if this works. Okay? And it's a proven, like we always try to be in control of a situation. Okay?
Especially me.
So we always ask, why do I got to write all this down? Why do I got to stop asking why? Just trust that the process works.
Try.
You know? And that's what I'm saying. Just be willing to give it a chance. Okay? And that's all it's asking right now.
Says the 8th step is not easy. It demands a new kind of honesty about our relations with other people. The 8th step starts the process of forgiveness. We forgive others, possibly we are forgiven, and finally we forgive ourselves and learn how to live in the world. By the time we reach this step, we have become ready to understand rather than to be understood. We can live and let live easier when we know the areas in which we owe amends. It seems hard now, but once we've done it, we will wonder why we didn't do it all along.
Keep in mind, I believe it says something like, we forgive others, possibly they forgive us, but we learn to forgive ourselves. Okay?
That's a big one.
So it's like, we know what we're going in with. We're going in with the heart, with the mind of forgiving. We might get forgiven. That's besides the point. We're not there for that. But we will forgive ourselves. Okay? Those are the two things that are guaranteed. That you're going to forgive and that you're going to forgive yourself. Now, whether they forgive you or not, that's out of your control. You have no control over that. Okay? So don't take it personal. That's just the way it is, okay? This is about working on you, your step, your side of the street, not about them and what they're going through, okay? You need to make right with yourself, you know? So that's what I got from that.
Big it is. We need some real honesty before we can make an accurate list. In preparing to make the 8-step list, it is helpful to define harm. Our definition of harm is physically and mental damage. Another definition of harm is inflicting pain, suffering, or loss. The damage may have caused by something that is said, done, or left undone. Harm can result from words or actions, either intentionally or unintentionally. The degree of harm can range from making someone feel mentally uncomfortable to inflicting bodily injury or even death. I think the biggest thing people get hung up on in this is the left undone. Leaving something undone. Maybe that person didn't know you did them wrong. Maybe that person didn't know that it was you that did them wrong. Maybe that person, whatever it may be. If you know in your heart that you did something wrong, the only way that you are going to be clear your conscience is, or to be proactive in your own recovery, is to clear your conscience, is to let it out, is to be able to move forward. And the only way you could do that is recognizing it, making amends, and then moving forward. But when you leave it undone, whether it's a year from now or 10 years from now, anything that's in the dark will always come out to the light. And who wants to live like that? Who wants to live in recovery like, I'm doing hella good, I got my job, I got my kids back, I got my life is good, I'm living my best life, and then 10 years from now, boom, hello, I'm a problem that you didn't take care of. Hello. You know what I mean? Like, that's just it's gonna knock you on your ass. And I don't care how far or how good you're doing in recovery. If you have something that you could fix right now, why not fix it? Why not put that to a side and live your best life and not have to look over your shoulder in your recovery?
So I think that's where true honesty comes in, and it's about being accountable for your actions, And it in 12 steps, it'll teach you how to be able to differentiate between your actions, okay? Because that's your responsibility, all right? Whether you feel like someone initiated the situation or it was you, don't justify. We're not here to justify. We're not here to down talk anybody. We're not here to fucking rain on their parade. That's whatever they got going on, they got going on. This is about you and your recovery.
Yeah.
Okay? So it's about taking care of your side of the street, taking care of your decisions, your wrong actions, the things that you've done wrong, the harms that you've caused. And that's the reason that they want you to do this, the reason that we stress the fact that it's important to clear out that closet.
To be honest.
Because, man, it's so beautiful to be able to walk around knowing that you've cleaned your side of the street, knowing that you took care of all the faults, all the, the resentments that you had, all the amends that you had to make. And you can walk down the street, walk anywhere and know that, can't nobody say anything to you because, you've done the best of your ability. And ultimately, that's what we want. We hate living a life where you have to look over your shoulder, where you have to constantly lie to cover up another lie.
To cover up another lie. Yeah. To cover up another lie.
And so that's not what we're aiming for. That's not the life. That's not living. And so this steps, it guides us into a way of being able to recognize that and be the best person that you could be. And it's a humble person, a man of integrity. Or woman. And that's living right there, Don't fuck what nobody say.
All right. So it says, the 8th step presents us with a problem. Many of us have difficulties admitting that we caused harm to others because we thought we were the victims of our addiction. Avoiding the rationalization is crucial to the 8th step. We must separate what was done to us from what we did to others. We cut away our justifications and our ideas of being a victim. We often feel that we only harmed ourselves, yet we usually list ourselves last, if at all. This step is doing the legwork to prepare the wreckage of our lives. It says it will not make us better to judge the faults of another. It will make us feel better to clean up our lives and to by relieving ourselves of the guilt. By writing our list, we can no longer deny that we caused harm. We admit that we hurt others directly or indirectly through some action, lie, broken promises, or neglect.
Right.
So, I mean, that's basically like by writing it, you're getting it out there and you're able to recall exactly what took place and see your side in it, and that you did inflict, whether indirectly or directly. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah. So we stop, when you're a self-centered person, it's about you, you know, and it's easier to judge someone else and put the fault on them and be like, it was their fault. Okay? Well, that doesn't get you far, you know? When you stop worrying about the next man and what they had to do in it, and you look at your actions, look at the things you've done, how you could have even avoided the situations. And when you get rid of all that judgment, all that when you clean yourself up, it says it relieves you of your self-guilt. Okay? Guilt is such a fucking thing that has broken down so many recovering brothers that have been in recovery. Guilt. All right? And that comes from actually not doing a proper step work, you know? And if you're not honest with yourself, you're not open about everything going on in your life, that guilt, that shame, it comes back, man, and it haunts you. The times that you are alone, it'll hit you. It's in your mind, and it's deep down inside. So when you don't take care of it, it's detrimental to your recovery, man. So it's very important that we do an honest, thorough job when it comes to our step work. You know, it's very important. You agree?
I do agree. I do. I think being self-centered as an addict is, it's whenever you do any kind of mind-altering substance, it changes your brain, you know. And so you could be the kindest, most loving person, and as soon as that drug hits your fucking chromosome,
the first thing that goes out the window is empathy.
You know, and it's just like it's like those feelings, you know, you just turn them off or turn them on, and the only time they're really off or on is when it's about you. And so it's sad, but it's something that you have to just admit. Okay, look, I was self-centered, all right, but I can make a better choice today, you know, and I can make amends today. And by making a list. Now you could have that one person, okay, that one person be like, okay, well, you know, he robbed me first, so it was just only right for me to rob him. Just using an example. You still robbed him. You still had a part in it. You still need to make amends. He may have initiated it, but you still have to make it right. Why? Because you don't want that shit to haunt you later down in your life, you know? You want a clear slate.
But always remain, like, even though you're in recovery, you got to be street smart. You're not going to make an amends at the point where you are causing someone else harm or you're putting yourself in harm.
Or putting yourself at harm,
right,
yeah.
So if the dope man robbed, you know, if you rob the dope man, you know, probably not.
Don't go knocking on the door.
You know? So, you know what I mean? Just use your mind, you know what I mean?
No, I didn't mean it like go, like, put yourself in harm's way.
Well, no, I'm just saying that people should know that they, you know,
Look,
not...
there will come times in your recovery where you may run across somebody that maybe you put them on your list, maybe you didn't put them on your list, maybe you didn't remember them, but you come across them. He sees you, you see them, you're doing good, you might exchange words, you might not. If you can make amends, is what I mean to say. Make amends. If you have that opportunity to make right for what you did, whether he initiated it or whatnot, then do so. Now, if you're putting yourself at harm, or you know what I mean, it's not a good situation. Write it on a piece of paper, throw it in the ocean, give it to God. You know what I mean, and just keep it pushing. At least you're working forward and you're not working backwards. Is that better?
Agreed.
Is that better? I didn't mean to go knock on the dope man's door. Hey, remember me?
Right. In some cases, we may not know the person that we have wronged. While using, anyone that we contacted was at risk. Many members mentioned their parents, spouses, children, friends, lovers, other addicts, casual accountants, co-workers, employers, teachers, landlords, total strangers. We may also place ourselves on the list because while practicing our addiction, we have slowly been killing ourselves. We may find it beneficial to make a separate list of people whom we owe financial amends to, separately. So as with each step, we must be thorough. Most of us fall short of our goals more often than we exceed them. At the same time, we cannot put off completion of the step just because we are not sure that our list is complete. You are never finished.
Never.
Okay, and the reason it says you're never finished because as we go along, it talks about making your daily inventory. Okay, because I was telling Jen the story that it goes like, there's a guy driving down the streets and he gets cut off, and now he's like, motherfucker, you just cut me off, right? And the guy doesn't even know he cut him off. So now he's a little upset. He goes to the red light and he gets stuck at the red light. Now he's really pissed off. He's just getting off of work. He's fucking mad. So now he goes and there's a fucking bicyclist that goes right as he's about to turn. So now he's like, what the fuck, right? And the bicyclist just rolls right on by, doesn't even notice that the car was coming.
Doesn't even faze him.
This guy gets home, walks in, his babies are like, hi dad, just getting home from work.
He's like, rah!
What the fuck? Like, look, I just getting home. He's upset now. He's yelling at his kids. Now,
then he comes in the kitchen. And he gonna learn something today.
She ain't even done cooking dinner. So now, right? So now he's really pissed off, right? So now everybody's paying for the fault, right? The guy that's driving the car, guess what? He don't give a two shits. He don't even know what's going on. He's over there at McDonald's eating a burger, eating a Big Mac. No worries in the world.
Clogging his arteries.
The guy in the bike is turning away to the smoke shop, and they don't even have a worry. They didn't even have you in mind, but you held on to those things. You held on to them, and you brought that home with you. And now the effects are affecting your family, your kids, your relationship, your marriage, and guess what? You didn't let go. And these things right here are things that you caused throughout your day. That, at night, let me lay my eyes, when I'm about to lay down, let me do an inventory. What could I have done different today? What harms did I cause today? Did I disrespect anybody? Did I say something negative to somebody? Did I cut somebody off?
What could I have done differently?
And so this daily inventory doesn't end. It's something you can do every day, and it'll help you be a better person. And it'll help your recovery. It'll help your relationship. It'll help your life.
I think it's highly recommended too, once you do your 12 steps, go back and do them again.
Yeah.
That way, if you forgot anything, you gotta work it out this time. Or if you have something else that popped up, because one addiction goes to another sometimes, you're able to work that out too. So you're able to, it's a never-ending process. Yeah. But the beauty about recovery is it's self-discovery, and you're constantly learning something about yourself, and who you are and what you have to offer this world.
And how to deal with other people.
That part too.
Because you look at that old character who you were, and you see all the faults in that, your character defects, your shortcomings, and you see how that affected your relationships, your friendships, your work environment. Why? Because of the addiction, and all your shortcomings and your character defects and those masks that you had on. But once you're in sobriety and you're working your steps, you come to recognize all those things and doing something different about them, and they give you a different outcome when it comes to your relationship, your friendships, your work environment, and everything. Yeah. Right?
Stronger foundations.
Yes. So the final difficulty in working the 8th step is separate.
The final
difficulties
in
working the 8th step is separating it from the 9th step. Projections about actually making amends can be a major obstacle, both in making the list and becoming willing. We do this step as if there were no 9th step. we do not even think about making amends, but just concentrate on exactly what the 8th step says. You make a list and become willing. All right? Don't worry about nothing else. Just make a list and become willing. All right? The main thing this step does for us is to help build awareness that little by little we are gaining new attitudes about ourselves, and we learn how to deal with other people. Listening carefully to other members share their experience regarding this step can relieve any confusion that we may have about writing our list. Your sponsor may share with us how step 8 worked for them. Asking a question during a meeting can give us benefit of group conscience. You're ever confused, man? That's what they're there for. That's what we're all here for. We're all in this recovery. It's all, there's no right or wrong answer. It's a learning process, a living process. And like I said, when you're stuck somewhere, ask for help. Nobody knows you're stuck unless you say something.
Yeah.
So that's what it's trying to tell us, that there's always your fellowship, when your group,
us,
your sponsorship, raw as fuck is always here. So the 8th step offers a big change from a life dominated by guilt and remorse. Our futures are changed because we don't have to avoid those that we have harmed. As a result of this step, we receive a new freedom that can end isolation. As we realize our need to be forgiven, we tend to be more forgiving. At last, we know that we are no longer intentionally making life miserable for people. And at last, we know that we are no longer intentionally making life miserable for people. The 8th step is an action step. Like all the steps, it offers immediate benefit. We are now free to begin our amends in the step 9.
We're free!
So, it's like, I know that February 5th was the day that I stopped causing harm. That's the day that I stopped being the problem, And that's amazing. I'll never forget that day, And
me either.
So it's like we become part of the solution. And now it's time to work on our past wreckage. And that's what we're doing. We're trying to work on our past wreckage. We know as of February 5th, I have no more list. I have no more piled. I have nothing piled up. I have no bags that I'm carrying. You know what I mean? Because we stopped being the problem. We stopped making chaos. After February 5th, there's been no more chaos that's been piling up in our lives. So now it's time to work on that past wreckage so that you could have a better future.
So you can keep moving forward in what you're doing. You're trying to create serenity. You're trying to create peace for your life, for your kids' life, for your parents' life. And in order to do that, it's making better choices, but it's also cleaning up the shit that we did do wrong and making right for what we did do wrong.
Yeah. And, you'll hear different belief systems, different things where some people is like, there's no need, Why?
I was told today I didn't have to do what I was doing because I was already forgiven, and I think he kind of misunderstood what we were doing or how I explained it. But I feel like we did do a lot of harm, and so it's only right. And a lot of those harms are people that we can't make amends to because we don't know them directly. And so, in that,
it's different state of minds.
We're
People
just
believe
trying
different.
to make right into this new life of recovery. We took so much, and so it's only right for us to give back. That's mine.
So yeah, recovery's possible, and it's amazing. So just be honest with yourself. Be honest with your sponsor. Be honest with the step work. It's the only way it's gonna work. Like anything else, you half-ass it, you're gonna get a half-ass result.
You don't want that. You want the whole booty. We love you guys. We love you guys, and we're here. If you have any questions, if you need somebody to bounce ideas off of or talk to.
I get it. Half-ass job, whole booty.
The whole ass booty.
I didn't know what you were talking about. Raw as fuck.
We love you guys. Bye.